On the news tonight, 64 face prosecutions for violating sanitation laws in Ondo State. Medical experts in Ondo urge caution against cold weather hazard. Half workers vow to join NLC in nationwide strike. And from the forensic, Putin reaches agreement on grain exports to Africa as AU-Russia summit ends in optimism.
Lovely evening to you. Thank you for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Timile Falade. As part of efforts to accelerate development of people at the grassroots, the Ondo State Executive Council has announced the creation of 33 local government development areas, LCDAs. Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Sir Charles Titiloye, made the disclosure at a briefing shortly after the State Executive Council meeting held at the Council Chamber of the Governor's Office in Akure. The report.
On the 21st of March 2019, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu constituted an 11-man committee on creation of local council development areas to look into the possibility of creating LCDAs in the state. He said his decision was hinged on genuine economic development of the people. 4 years down the line, the decision has come to fruition. Addressing Government House reporters after the Ondo State Executive Council meeting, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Sir Charles Titiloye, explained that following the committee's report, it was recommended that 33 additional LCDAs be established in the state in addition to the existing 18 local government areas. Titiloye hinted that the full implementation of the creation of the 33 LCDAs will commence after the passage of the law by the State House of Assembly and assented to by the Governor.
As you all know, the procedure for creation of local governments will not be complete without an enabling law. The Council received today a proposed bill for the establishment of the 33 local council development areas. This proposed bill was approved by the State Executive Council to be sent to the House of Assembly for enactment. When the House of Assembly enacts this bill to be assented to by Mr. Governor, and the full implementation of creation of additional 33 local governments in Ondo State comments. As you know, that with the decision of the Supreme Court, they will continue to operate as LCDA until they are listed in the Constitution, along with the 18 that are already in the Constitution, to now give Ondo State 51 local government council development area. But we wish to assure you that the local council development area that is so-called effects, we share the same equal power and function with the existing one in accordance with the recommendation of the committee set up by government for the creation of the LCD.
Ondo State Commissioner for Local Government and Chief Justice Affairs, Alhaji Amidu Takuro, also at the briefing, revealed that Council has approved the upgrade and appointment of 2 monarchs.
The new Olora of Ora Ajowa in Akoko Northwest Local Government, in person of Chief Bola Olusa as the Olora of Ora Ajowa Akoko. The Council also approved the appointment of new Olekan of Etikan in the Nigeria Local Government area of Ondo State, in person of Prince Temidayo Oyeri as the new Olekan of Etikan. Also, the Council approved 2 warrantships for purpose of selection of new Takumbi of Ipoke in SAO local governments. The council also approved 8 warrant issues for the purpose of selection of new Orungeruwa, Shilpinsi Petu, Inode, Irinje, Inojupa, local government area of Ondo State.
The acting governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, presided over the meeting.
No fewer than 64 people have been arrested in Akure, the state capital, for contravening various environmental laws. Osrc crew went round Akure and its environs to monitor the exercise and reports that environmental officers were on ground to enforce restriction on human and vehicular movement.
It is another sanitation day in Akure, the Ondo State capital. One major reason for the exercise is the need to instill the culture of cleanliness and hygiene in the populace. For officers of Ondo State Waste Management Authority and security operatives at Odojoka, the task was quite Herculean as they enforced the compliance to environmental laws. Elejoka of Odojoka, Rokpo Afolabi, and the state chairman, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Mr. Matthew Ogumolawa, appreciated the team for their effort at ensuring that the state is free of debt.
Inú mi dùn bọ́n ṣe wá bá ń tú àyíká yìí ṣe torí ìfúra mi gan mo sọ fún kọmíṣánná pé wọn kì í ṣe environmental àbí pé àdúgbò ìdọ̀tí ó dẹ̀ àṣọ pé wọn à wálé ní so ó dẹ̀ wá àtàwọn bíi sẹ́ẹ̀bì náà mo ti wà ń ta náà tá a jọjọ ń ṣe so mo fi àdúrà ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ ọ̀nà tó bá máa ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́.
By the grace of God today, we are able to participate fully and assisted the department or the agency at least to control the youth. And by the grace of God, those people that resisted the order maybe to cooperate to work in their environment, they were arrested.
Ondo State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Sunday Akinwalire, who bemoaned the filthy nature of the environment, said government will not relent in its effort at ensuring an hygienic environment for the people.
The level of compliance has been generally zero, and we had, whatever it is, to make some arrests, and more importantly, we engage some of them and all of our officers to make sure that the streets as well as the junction here paint clean. We swept, we watch, please try to make sure that sanity comes back to this area.
Mr. Akinwalire also stressed the need for proper containerization of waste, urging residents to make sanitation a daily affair.
And we use this opportunity to appeal to all residents of Ondo State that we should all be mindful of the way we use our environment. I want to appeal to KBACs, all our KBACs, most especially the DG of Akure, that a meeting of all the landlord association be immediately called to address some of this issue of recalcitrance amongst our residents.
The General Manager, Ondo State Waste Management Authority, Mr. Adefola Omowole, who was represented during the exercise by Mr. Adekunle Olajubu, decried the situation and warned against indiscriminate dumping of waste.
We observe there are a lot of non-compliance of citizens. They take the environmental laws with levity hand, and we have observed this, and government is taking a drastic step to ensure that we enforce the law to the letter and brought to book anybody who found wanting disobeying the environmental law.
Waste vans were also sighted in and around Akure metropolis, ensuring illegal waste dumps were cleared. Offenders arrested were later taken to court for prosecution.
The majority leaders of the state houses of assembly, drawn from the 6 states of the southwest, have elected the majority leader of the Ondo State House of Assembly, Mr. Oluwole Ogunmolashoyi, as a new chairman. The majority leaders converged on Akure, Ondo State capital, to brainstorm on the development of legislative reform agenda for Southwest, with a view to harnessing legislative practices in the zone. The lawmakers will operate under the umbrella of the Southwest Legislative Reform Implementation Committee, unanimously elected Ogunmolashoyi to take over from the outgone chairman and immediate past majority leader of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mr. Oyeniran Agunbiade. Ogumolashui, who represents our constituency 1, will lead the forum till year 2027. Ahead of the screening ministerial nominees of the Senate, which is due to commence on Monday, 31st July 2023, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, Senator Abdullahi Gumel, has asked nominees to complete documentation by tomorrow. In a statement, Gumel says nominees are to submit required documents to his office at the National Assembly over the weekend. He added that the purpose is to ensure a hitch-free exercise. A meeting between representatives of the Organized Labour and the Presidential Steering Committee on Subsidy Palliatives ended in a deadlock few minutes into the meeting at the Osrc Presidential Villa, Abuja. The president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, led the delegation to the office of the Chief of Staff to the President, but was soon spotted exiting the building. The steering committee members met the government delegation on Wednesday, where the two parties agreed to reconvene on Friday to get a brief from the government's subcommittees on mass transit, compressed natural gas, and cash transfer. The steering committee was set up by the federal government to draw up intervention plans to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal on Nigerians. On the way out of the COS office, the Labour members accused the federal government of not prepared for the meeting. Healthcare workers under the aegis of the Joint Health Sector Unions and the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives have said they will join the looming strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress, scheduled to commence on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. The NLC has put plans in place for a nationwide strike scheduled to begin next Wednesday. The National Vice Chairman of JOHESU, Dr. Obinna Ugbona, said health workers were feeling the pinch of economic hardship and were in need of a better life. Dr. Ugbona said all the trade unions are one affiliate or the other to the Trade Union Congress and the NLC, adding that it will be very dangerous if health workers have to embark on the strike. In the meantime, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Kwara Council, has suspended its 21-day strike ultimatum issued to the state government over poor conditions of service of its members. A letter to the state governor, Malam Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, by the chairman, Aminu Shehu, said the decision followed the express approval of the council's demand by the governor. The demands include, among others, recruitment of more nurses into the health sector, upward review of COHES from 70% to 100%, implementation of hazard allowance, and implementation of uniform allowance. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. Would like to take a break at this point. Do stay with us.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite Indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide tonight.
Is
this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Welcome to Buckingham Parks and Gardens, the epitome of standard and luxury living. Nestled amidst nature's beauty, this exquisite real estate development offers you of comfort, elegance, and tranquility. Convenience and accessibility are paramount at Buckingham Parks and Gardens. Children fun field and recreational centers are not excluded in this world-class aesthetic estate situated at Aisu Road, Owodiede, Oshogbo in Osun State. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this extraordinary community. Contact our sales team today at Buckingham Parks and Garden. Your dream home awaits you.
Adron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite Indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Glad to have you back. You're still watching Osrc News at 7, and you can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Throwing caution to the wind during the cold weather could be accompanied by health issues. The current weather condition appears to have varying effects on human health, the elderly and children most vulnerable. Joy Powers takes a look at health management for old and young during a cold season. The report.
A high level of humidity often accompanies rainy season, resulting to low temperature, and as a result, increasing the weather temperature, particularly on cloudy days. During the cold season, the human body is faced with various challenges with the health of children and the elderly at the receiving end.
You have people that are who we call the more vulnerable, very young people, and the very old, and of course the pregnant mothers. The change in weather condition that will not affect somebody that is about 20 years old, 25 years old, may affect someone who is just 2 years old, may affect a pregnant mother, may affect an elderly person who is 70. So that person needs to be protected. We need to protect that person more than we may want to ordinarily do for someone who is 25 or 30.
The commonest conditions we see in children and the elderly, number one is respiratory tract infections, meaning respiratory tract infections involving sinusitis, the common cold. Then some people with asthma, pre-existing asthma, the cold can trigger the conditions.
The vulnerability of children and the aged to cold at this period calls for conscious precautionary measures.
Every morning by 8, I think I take some cup of tea. And I remain at home till afternoon before I leave home to go anywhere at all. Then I take my drugs.
tó bá ti dìgbà tó òjò bá ti ń rọ̀, so mo máa make sure pé mo wọṣọ tó cover ara ọmọ mi fún, tó tá prevent láti má jẹ́ kí kó tutù mú láyà. Màá rí pé ó wọṣọ dáadáa, màá dẹ̀ rí pé ó wà níbi tó wà secure.
What precautions could be medically taken to get the body immune to conditions attached to cold weather and to suppress its effects on overall health?
Prevention, they say, is better than cure. For the pregnant mothers, for children, and for the elderly, we need to even now do this more than we would do ordinarily for people who are in the middle ages, between the age of 20, 40, and 50. By the time you get to 60 and so on, you become more vulnerable and should protect yourself more.
People with asthma, they should avoid the triggers like exposure to the cold, so they should put on a warm clothing and avoid other triggers like maybe droplets or frying of things and dust that is associated with this period. Then for the children, the caregivers should monitor them and remove any obstacles or clean the wet surfaces that are in their environment.
Weather indicators in the last few weeks have put the temperature in most parts of Ondo State between 21 degrees Celsius and 29 degrees Celsius, an indicator of the weather conditions being experienced. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. It is therefore advised that proper protection against the chilly weather be prioritized to stay healthy. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
Nigeria has reported 287 confirmed cases out of 2,707 suspected cases of meningitis, including 183 deaths with a case fatality ratio of 6.8%. The cases were reported from 130 local government areas in 24 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, from October 2022 to July 2nd, 2023. This is according to the epidemiology situation of the disease released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, Plateau, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, and Zamfara states reported the suspected CSM cases. The NCDC, however, said it would continue to support affected states with essential response commodities. Leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has ordered Simon Ekpa, a separatist agitator, to end all sit-at-home in the southeast at the moment. Kanu's message was relayed by his special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, via a video released in Enugu State. The trending video saw Ejimako reading a letter from Kanu ordering Ekpa to end all sit-at-home enforcement in the region, cancel all pending ones, and stop killing Indigo.
By direct order, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu hereby ends once and for all and finally all sit-at-home, including the Monday sit-at-home and any other proposed sit-at-home presently in process. This public announcement, as written, bears the unedited verbatim instructions containing a direct order personally issued by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in his own handwriting on 24th July in the year of our Lord 2023, through my humble self to Mazi Simon Ekpa, instructing him to, quote, desist from calling for any sit-at-home henceforth, and to make a public announcement on his platform, media platform, to the effect that he, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Simon Ekpa, is in receipt of a direct order from him, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to cancel any pending sit-at-home in place at the moment. and also that he, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has, by the same order, authorized me, Barrister Aloy Ejimako, to issue a press statement if he, Mazi Simon Ekpa, fails to make this announcement on his platform. For avoidance of doubt, this direct order to Mazi Simon Ekpa was personally handed to me by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when I visited him on this 24th of July, 2023 at the headquarters of the Department of State Security Services in Abuja.
And now to the foreign scene, the head of Niger's presidential guard has named himself the head of a transitional government after Wednesday's coup that overthrew democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. General Abdurrahman Chachini said the takeover was necessary to avoid the gradual and inevitable demise of Niger.
Our action is motivated by the sole desire to preserve our beloved homeland. On the one hand, in the face of our deterioration of the security situation of our country, the President caused this crisis with poor economic and social governance.
There are about 5 or 6 countries all seeking to improve Niger's capacity to fight the jihadists. They've made big promises. Okay, so what kind of assistance is it that in Mali failed? Burkina Faso failed. It has failed in Niger. We need to ask the hard questions. When our partners come bearing gifts, what types of gifts are they?
I don't know exactly where he is, but he was detained. He told me he was well, but he told me that the situation was very serious.
The head of the African Union is urging Russia to renew the deal which allowed Ukraine to safely export grain to Africa. AU Chair and Comoros President Azali Assoumani spoke during the final day of the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. He also called for a ceasefire in Ukraine.
Many people here know that the Soviet Union and Russia never assumed that we should only buy raw materials from Africa. How many enterprises, power plants, steel factories did the Soviet Union build in Africa? We must return to this practice, as my colleague has just said, and we will do this both bilaterally and on international platforms.
President Putin has shown us that he is ready to dialogue and find a solution. Now we need to convince the other side. I hope we can do that. We have established once again that it can be done, and this gives us optimism. We are acting as a mediator. We will talk to one side and the other. I hope that we will achieve positive results.
Before we go tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. No fewer than 64 people were arrested in Akure, the state capital, today for contravening various environmental laws. Commissioner for Environment, Sunday Akinwalere, while monitoring this month's exercise, said government will do all within its power to ensure Ondo State is clean. We told you that medical experts in Ondo State have called on residents to pay attention to their health during the cold weather. Meanwhile, healthcare workers under the aegis of the Joint Health Sector Unions and the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives have said they will join the looming strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress, scheduled to commence on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. And finally, from the foreign scene, we told you that the head of the African Union has urged Russia to renew the deal which allowed Ukraine to safely export grain to Africa. The request was made in Petersburg at a 2-day summit of Africa and Russia, which ended in optimism, as President Putin has agreed to grain exports to Africa. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.